Guys, any doubts on yesterday's class? Media queries and CSS flex direction we discussed yesterday. So if you have any doubts, please ask me. Otherwise, we can go to the next topic. So yesterday we discussed HTML, CSS, flexbox, direction. We discussed display flex and flex direction. So without display flex, flex direction won't work. So compulsory we have to define the display flex. Without display flex, flex direction won't work. Okay. So without display flex, the flex direction or flex direction column, so anything won't work. We have to define the display flex. So the next topic is flex wrap. Flex wrap is very useful property in case of overflow of content. By default, CSS flexbox tries to fit all the elements in one single row. It can result into overflow of the content outside of the flex container. Okay, so then flex wrap, it activates the wrap property. Now all the overflow content will slip into the next row, the out of the container, the out of the container. Just give me a minute. Just sorry. So the next one is flex wrap, right? So flex wrap is very useful property in case of, so if our flex items are overflow, our flex item overflow, so then it's automatically converts into the second line. Okay, it automatically converts into the second line. Okay, so that is the use of flex wrap. So by default, display flex is trying to fit all the items into a one single row. Okay, to overcome that, okay, so we can use the flex wrap. So whatever the overflow items are there, so those items it's automatically converts into second line. Okay, so then we can see that one. So then now here we are having the four properties. Okay, four display properties are there, flex items are there. Okay, so then now, so each item of width is 200. Okay, so then now I can say 63.html. Okay, I'm commenting this one. This one, row 1 is not required. Okay. Row 1 is not required. Now if we can execute this one, now we are having the four items. So each item is 300 pixel width. Okay, now I have the another three items. Okay, so then this automatically fits when we use the display flex, it is automatically fits into that one. Now you can see our container width is 1200. So, but this flex box, each item width is 200 pixel. So, but it is trying to, when we use the display flex, so it is automatically fits into one row. So if we can add another four items also, it is automatically fits into one row. Now if we can use the flex hyphen wrap, flex hyphen wrap. So then, so we are having the properties called inherit, initial. Okay, so those are previous whatever properties are having, so those properties it can use. So no wrap means by default it is no wrap only. A revert and unset, so both as, so none property. So then wrap, see, it is automatically converts. Okay, so what is our width now? So 200 pixel. Okay, so 200 pixel. So then each item it will display. So 1 2 3 4 5 items are placed in one row. So whatever the items are overflow, so those items it's automatically coming to the second line. Okay, so why? So basically we are giving the 1200 pixel, but we have to fit six boxes, right? But here we are giving the border, so that's why it is taking to the another item to the second line. So if we can remove this one, if we can remove this border, now you can see, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 item. Okay, border also calculating the box width, border also calculating the box width. So that's why if you are adding a border, so then it has automatically comes the second line, whatever the overflow items. Okay, so now you can see here it is display. So we can use the row only. So then flex hyphen of wrap. Okay, so then by by default no wrap is there. So now we are applying the wrap property. So now you can see, so these are the properties. So when we minimize this server, when we minimize this browser, okay, it is automatically whatever the overflow items are there, so those automatically comes into the second line or third line. So now you can see, sorry, our this width is having the 1200 pixel, right? So then we can write the media query at media media. So then max width, max hyphen width, width colon, so 1200 pixels. Okay, so then our container width is 100 pixels, and sorry, 100%, 100%. Now you can see. So now you can see why previous we are getting this scroll bar. So by default defining we are defining the 1200 pixels. So there is no media queries. That's why we are getting the scroll bar. There is no media queries. That's why we are getting the scroll bar. Overflow means, so whatever width we are defining, so that width, if it is exceeds our flex items is exceeds, so then so it is automatically converts into the second line. Now by default we are defining the 1200 pixels, right? So if we can define, so below 1200 pixel screen width, so then our width is container width is 100%. That means 100%, that means it's a screen width. Okay, it's a screen width. Now you can see. Okay, so we are not writing any float left or float right. We are not writing the any column one. So we didn't write any CSS. We just mentioned the container width 100%. If you can write this one, we don't need to mention the below screen. So it is automatically converts. It is automatically converts if our things are, if our items are overflow. Okay, clear? Okay. So if you can use the 90%, if you can use the 90%, then you can see it is coming to the middle. Okay. Now it is see. Okay. So this is the way. This is the purpose of flex wrap. Okay. So flex wrap is very useful property in case of overflow of content. Overflow of content means flex item. Overflow of flex item. By default, CSS flex box tries to fit. By default, if you want to use the flex wrap, so then by default our flex box trying to fit all the items in one single row. Okay, to overcome that one, okay, to overcome that one, so we are having a property called flex wrap. So then if we can use this flex wrap, so whenever our items are overflow, so then it is automatically convert into the second line. Okay, so that is the one. So then here we are having another property called flex wrap reverse wrap hyphen reverse. Okay, so then it is displaying from right to left. Okay, from right to left. So these are the two items we are having. We can use the flex wrap. Okay, so the next one is after flex wrap, flex flow. Flex flow. So the CSS flex flow property is a shorthand property. So like padding, okay, when we use the padding, so then we don't need to separately define the padding left, padding right, padding top, padding bottom. So CSS flex flow property is a shorthand property which can combine the both flex direction and flex wrap, which can combine the both properties flex direction and flex wrap properties. We can give the values for both the properties just by giving the separated with the space, separated with space. Okay, so then we can see now. So now by default this is the one. So if you can use the flex hyphen flow. Okay, so then you can use the first, we have to define the flex direction. So now I want to define the column. Okay, so then no need to use the wrap, because of if we can display the wrap, so no need to use, so each item can display in one line only. So when we use the wrap property, wrap property we can use when we display the flex item into a row. Okay, so at that time only we have to use the flex wrap. Okay, so then a row flex hyphen flow, so then a row. Okay, so then row, then wrap. Okay, so then it is automatically commented this, right? It is automatically commented. So then wrap hyphen reverse. Okay, row reverse. Okay, row reverse. It is applying from right to left. Okay, row reverse means right to left. Okay, wrap reverse, so all the items also reverse. Okay, so this is the way we can use the flex flow property. It's a combination of flex direction and flex wrap, row and wrap. Okay, so we can decrease the CSS. So if you won't have flex property, so then we have to write almost 100 lines of CSS to apply these things, to apply all these things. Where is flex property? There it is. Okay, so this is the flex flow property. Okay, so the next property is justify content of a row in a CSS flexbox. So justify content. Okay, so justify content property is used to when you want to align the flex item to display a particular manner. Okay, along with either x-axis. It's a horizontally align the items as specified. It justifies the extra horizontal space present in a row. Okay, so there are different values that you can set to justify content. Justify content flex start. Okay, so that means, so if you want to display the flex item from left side or from right side or from top side or from sorry, left side or right side, or if you want to display the all the flex item into a center. Okay, so then we can display these three values we are having. Another two values also we are having. So another two values, space between, space around. Okay, so first one we can display the, we can check about the justify content flex start. So by default it is taking the flex start only. So any HTML element, all the elements we are displaying by default from left to right only. So this flex item justify content also, it is displaying from left only. Okay, it plays the flex item the starting of the flex along with the main axis, that is extreme left, that is extreme left. That means, so if you can see it here, so when we hover on that one, so this is our container width, this is our container width. See, if we can observe this one, so whatever the container width that is highlighting, remaining white space, that means exceed above the 1200 pixel, it is displaying the other color, right? So then that highlighting color is 1200 pixel. Now our flex items are displaying from extreme left, that means from left to right it is displaying. So by default it is having. Now if you can see justify content, justify content, so then flex hyphen start. So this is by default, this is by default. For suppose if you want to display flex item from right side, from right side, so then you can display like this, flex end, flex end. Okay, so this is another one. So then if you want to display the flex item from center, so then we are having the property called center. Now you can see, so I am highlighting this one, so all our flex items are displaying from center. Okay, it is displaying from center only. So left and right is having unique space, left and right is having unique space, if you can observe. Okay, so what are the properties we are having in justify content? In justify content, so by default property flex start. Flex start means it is displaying from extreme left, that means so starting position of the left side. Okay, then flex end, it is displaying from extreme right side. Okay, so the next one is the third property is center. So all the flex item if you want to display, so then we can use the justify content center property. So the next property is space around, space around. So that means, so for each flex item, so we can provide the unique space. That means it can, so whatever the first row we are having, five items are there. So those five items, so whatever the free space is having, so those five items is equally sharing the empty space. Now see, justify content space around. Now you can see space around. Okay, so all the items are having the unique space. All the items are having unique space. Okay, if you can observe this one. Okay, so this item, and so if you can observe, first and second is having more space because of, so that is first item a right side space and second item left side space are mixing. So that is why, so if you can look that one, so those items space are looks more. Okay, but it is equally allocating the space for each item. Okay, it is equally allocating the space for each item. Clear? So the next one is after space around, space between, space between. That means left side it is displaying from extreme left side. So right side, whatever the last element is there, so that last element it is displaying from last, from extreme right. So middle, so they can provide the equal space. Now you can see space around. Space between. Now you can see space between. Now see, so first item it is displaying from left side, last item it is displaying from right side. So then remaining items they can equally aligning that space. Okay, equally aligning that space. So without this thing, so if you want, if you can display that one, so we are getting lot of headache. Okay, we are getting lot of headache. So if you can give any margin, if you can give any margin in between these two, so then again, so another item is coming down, another item is coming down. So very difficult, okay, to manage these things without flexbox. We have to write lot of CSS. So some for first item we have to write left, extreme float left. So then last item we have to write float right. So in this spin, so if you can write the first one float left, so last item, so we have to write again another CSS property we have to take it. Okay. So then, so using flexbox, so we can decrease the lot of CSS. Okay. So the next one, so justify content. So justify content. So then space between. Okay. Space even and space around both are same only. Why it is not coming? You are writing in CSS 3 only. Sorry, that is what we don't need this one. So confusing. We don't need this one. So this one we need. Okay. So then now you can see. Okay. So this is the justify content. So the next property is so align content of columns. Align content of columns in a CSS flexbox. Align content of a columns. Okay, so align content is similar to justify content, but it works on the across axis, vertical axis, vertical access, that means for this one. So this is column. So these are the verticals, right? So we are commenting this one. Column. Okay. So now, so is justify content is working for this one? So it is not working. Is justify content is not working for flex direction column. So justify content will work only. So flex direction row, if our flex direction row is having, then only it will work the justify content. So now, so we have to work on align items. Align items, flex start. So by default it is the one. Flex start by default, that is the one. Okay. So it is displaying from extreme left. So then if you want to display from right side, so then end. Okay. So if you want to display the center, so then we can use the center. Okay. So these are the properties we are having. Align items. Align items. See it here. Align content is similar to justify content, but it works on the cross across the axis of vertical axis. It will align the items on the vertical axis. If there is some extra space left, it is a little bit different than the previous property. So there are some conditions that should meet for it to work. So their properties flex flow should be set to wrap or wrap reverse. Okay. So flex flow. So do we need to write the flex flow for this one? So no need. There should be multiple rows. So there should be multiple rows. Okay. So without single rows, it won't work. Without single row, it won't work. So we have to there and multiple rows. It doesn't show any effect on the single row. Are they saying? So it doesn't show any effect for the single row. Okay. So if you are having the multiple rows, so then only it can show the effect. So it is clear from the above condition, so that this property will work only the flex flow wrap or wrap reverse gets engaged. Okay. Otherwise it won't work. Otherwise it won't work. Otherwise it won't work. So what are the things are having? So align item, flex start, align item, flex end. Align item, so flex start, and align item, flex end. Okay. So the next one is the align item center. All the items gets aligned to the center. Okay. So the next one is the space around and space between. So if you are having the multiple columns, then this will work. Where is this one? Where is? So this is the one, right? So then, so if you want to display the flex row, then we are having the row, then we are having the row. So then you can see we are having the multiple, right? So then we can display the align, align content, align items is not showing because of we are showing the row, right? There is this one, align. Okay, center, space end, and flex start. So then space around, space between, and space evenly. So if you can look, so both are looks like same only. Okay, space between, space around. Okay, space between means if you are having the two columns, so then it is equally allocated. It is equally allocated. Space evenly, again it is center. Okay, so flex start and flex end, so then center. Okay, so these three properties we can use for columns. These three properties we can use for columns. Okay, so this is the align contents or align items also we can use. Okay, align items or align contents also we can use. So the next property is flex item properties. Flex item properties. So you can set the order. So for suppose if you can see basis property, so then you can see for suppose, so this content is having, now you can see this content is having extreme left first letter. So this text is starting from top and also it is displaying from left side only. So if you want to display this text from right side, so then we can see it now. So we have to use the display flex. Okay, so then flex wrap, then we have to use the wrap. So then, so justify content, you can see the you can see the difference. Justify content, for inside content I am saying now, for inside content. So now by default it is displaying, so inside flex item content by default it is displaying from left side and from, it is displaying from left and top, right, by default. So if you want to display from right side, we have to use the flex end, flex end. Okay, so then so align content. So then see, so by default flex start only. So if you want to display from bottom onward, so then we have to display like this. We have to display like this, flex end. Okay, so then we can write one by one. No worries. So for column one, so I am writing, so display. So by default, we are applying the display flex. No need to rewrite every time. So then flex wrap, flex wrap, flex wrap. So then wrap or wrap reverse. Okay. So then for column reverse, so justify content. So by default left, and also align items, align content, align content, flex start only, flex hyphen start only. Sorry, here also flex start. So these are the by default, we don't need to display it. So the next one is, so for suppose, so if you are having the, so this one, so we can apply two, we can apply two. Now, so this one we are applying the COL hyphen 2. Okay. So for this one we are applying the COL hyphen 3. Okay. Now you can see one is okay. So then two is flex end. You can write the flex end, and so this one also, so from flex end. Okay, align item flex end, and end means it is displaying from top. Align items always displaying from top. So if we can use the flex item and it is displaying from bottom. It is it is displaying from bottom. Now you can see this one. Okay, so this one we are applying this flexion and flexion. Okay, so if you want to display the content center, if you want to display the content center, so then call hyphen 3, call hyphen 3 justify content center. Okay, so then so align content center. Okay, so basically we can use the, so this one we can use the flex hyphen start. So these are all classes by default defining in bootstrap. Flex hyphen and, so this one is the flex hyphen center, flex hyphen center. So same classes we can use it. So this is the one is flex start. So this one is the flex end. So then this one is the flex center. See now what happened. So this is not displaying. Third one. Justify content is, now you can see. Third one is displaying in the box center. It is displaying. Third one is displaying from box center. Okay, clear? So this is the way we can apply the align items inside of the content, inside of the flex item, inside of the content. We can apply the display flex property for content also. Okay, clear? So the next one is the flex basis property. So flex basis property is used to define the initial size of flex item. So then in flex direction row, it sets the weight of flex item, but flex direction